Wow. Am I all pink? Not sure what's happening here. Good morning, everybody who's here. I'm pink today. Let's see, I'm going to get us on Facebook, and we're going to just have a quick chat this morning about journaling for healing. Let's get us going over here. I'm going to share this in a group, and that group is the Sisters Enchanted. Hope everyone's having a great Friday morning. This in-between week between the holidays and New Year. Let's see here. I think that we are live. We are. Okay. So hello, everybody on Facebook and on Zoom. We are good to go. Good morning. Where's my Zoom screen? It disappeared. All right, there we are. Good morning. Pouring in Delaware, Dawn says. I don't know why I'm purple. I think it's like reflecting off the lights behind me. I'll have to unplug them next time. Or I'll just be purple always, like a Smurf, but purple. It's pouring here today too, Dawn. Totally raining right now, and it's bumming me out because I don't know. I don't like this school break time when older kids are out of school because it means it's hard for me to take my little kids places. And now it's raining, so we can't go outside. Well, I mean, I guess we could, but it's just, it's a whole other, and then that's a whole nother ball of wax to take them outside in the rain. So anyway, bummer sort of day here. All right, today we have a shorter, so this is not going to be a whole hour. This is going to be shorter. We're going to talk about journaling. So last night I sent out just a really quick printable thing for you with some tips and ideas in regard to journaling. So some things you might want to try or not try, whatever, some ideas for you. Rain everywhere, it looks like. So yesterday we talked about healing and this idea of the number 3, 2019, and why it's kind of a prime year for healing. And I'll just, hey Jen, I'm not going to re-explain everything, but I'll circle back real quick just to to give us the overview again. So with this 3 year, this is when, with the number 3, we look at 3 like a 3-legged stool, right? If you take one leg away, it can't stand, or at least not unless it's like magically balanced or something. So with the idea of 3 for this 3 year, when we have forward facing stuff and internal stuff, in order to make that third leg really stand and hold us up, these need to integrate well together. And where things integrate in our lives well, we should find joy. And if we're not experiencing joy, that means there's 2 areas of our lives that aren't integrating. And that's where this 3 comes up, right? And why this 3 is so powerful. Because when you have 2 sides to things, 2 areas, so whether it's the shadow and the light, it's your outward self and your inner self, it's your logic and your subconscious. When those things integrate well together, we get this third leg that's able to hold us up. And that's what we're going to be presented with in 2019. And when we're not integrating these things, or something's not integrating well for us, this is where we are more likely to then have kind of more crap dumped on our doorstep as a reminder of like, hey, this isn't working. But if things are working really well and they are integrating really well, then you might receive so much recognition of that or confirmation of that in abundance. Speaking of abundance, Jupiter is home in Sagittarius. So this is really a prime spot to receive abundance if we are open to receiving it and we're living from a place of joy. So Jupiter loves to deliver abundance to us when we're doing the right things. If we are working a 9-to-5 that we hate, and we're like, but I should have plenty of money because I make plenty of money and we don't have any money. That could be, it's a sign that's not integrating. That third leg isn't strong. And when that third leg is strong, you're going to receive more abundance. So Christina says, downpouring. Yes. So yeah, I know. And Karen, who's on Zoom, was on a business witchery mastermind chat with me last night with a bunch of us, and heard my 4-year-old having an epic tantrum. So I especially would like to get them out of the house today, but now don't know what to do. So yeah, rain, go away. Anyway, okay, so that's kind of the overview, right? That's the reminder of where we're at with this year, with 2019. As a 3-year, and why it's such a great year to heal. Because if we're not healing these things that aren't allowing us to integrate and live in a place of joy, chances are we're going to see more crap. And when we look at astrology and we see, like I said, Jupiter being home in Sagittarius, that does the same thing. If you're not if you're not living from a place of joy and open to receiving abundance easily and in a way that's really great for you, which is that like integrated place, that like soul and human itself integrated place, you're going to get an abundance of stuff you don't want. Like that person who's like, oh, I make plenty of money, why don't I have any? If you're living from a very human place where you're kind of miserable and you're stuck in everyday emotions and whatever, not that humans have to be miserable, but when you're living like kind of soul aligned, you're going to feel very joyful. And when we're living very rational, logical human selves, we might not experience that. Then you might get like a lot of bills and stuff, like you're going to get an abundance of that. So it really does. That's like all lined up for 2019 to be the school year. But Karen, yeah, long day for sure. Let's see here. Morning, Michelle. And hi, Susan. Okay. So journaling, I talked about it a little bit yesterday, and that's our hot topic for today. And like I said, it's going to be quick. So I emailed out for those of you who might be newer to the community, don't know my take on journaling and what I talk about. You have a printable with some ideas for you, or anybody who's been around and just wants a refresher on some ideas and things. There's that printable in the email for you. When it comes to healing and the journaling, I think sometimes, and I'm kind of in this position where when I look at 2019 and magical healing, I see like the big picture, but I'm having a hard time figuring out like what that small thing is that I want to actually work on. And I talk about this domino effect where we work on one small thing and it's going to help it's going to create the domino effect, right? So one thing you can do if you're like me and you're having trouble narrowing down to one thing you want to work on, journaling can actually help with that. And here, the way that I see that happening is maybe sitting down and just writing about all the things that happen in that area. So a big thing for me is always doing for other people, putting other people first. Like I always want to help other people. I always want to help other people get ahead or do things for other people, make people's lives easier, which usually doesn't make my life any easier. It usually makes my life harder. So making other people's lives easier is like my thing. And then I make my life harder in the short term or the long term. So maybe something for me would be to sit down and just write examples of that and write how it felt to do the thing, but then how it felt after, and see if I can't find a common thread there or a pattern, or if that helps me get clear on what's actually happening. So if you are like me and you can see kind of the big picture problem, but you're like, yeah, but I don't really know, what does healing look like there? Where's the void? What's that spot that needs to be filled? And through writing your story, that might help you see that through. So that's something that I might try to do today on this rainy day, distract the kids for a little bit and get to writing. So like I said, that's one thing you can do for journaling, and then you could just call it writing. Like if the word journaling just seems weird to you and buzzwordy, just sit down and write, just write your story as it is right now. And then we can look at, for the healing piece of it, if there's a little thing you want to heal, if you already know what that little thing is, keep in mind that idea of 3. So where is there too much energy? Where is there not enough energy? Where is there no balance? When we have balance, that's when that third leg of our stool, that's that integration where it's holding us up. We're aligned, we're joyful, we're open to receiving. So where are those two sides missing? And that's something you can write on. You can write a letter to both of those, or from those different perspectives, or what it would feel like to be in balance there. And that's how you can sort of use your magical journaling for some magical healing to get going with that. You can also, if you're a person who likes to either do meditation, prayer, spell work, just like letters to your spirit guides or the universe or your future self or your past self or whatever. You can also incorporate like crystals and tea and oils and all different things, and create yourself a little ritual around this if you want to as well, and create sacred space. You can pull tarot or oracle cards, write about those, kind of see what how those help inform your decision. I love tarot cards. So for me today, this might look like writing down my story and then maybe pulling 3 cards for some clarification to see like where things need to go or what it is I need to know around this area. So for journaling, that's your task for today, is to just grab a pen and paper. If you have a journal that you regularly use, you can pull that out. But do either one of the suggestions on the paper, or just write your story, or write whatever you feel called to write. And again, it can be just a sentence, and maybe, or just pull a tarot card or do a tarot spread and write about that. But to help you either begin healing something or to begin to see what it is you need to heal. And keep in mind too, that idea of the hanged man from yesterday, where we need to typically change perspective on something to see what it is that's actually happening, or to see our healing for what it really is. I think a lot of the time we might say like, we see problems as external, when it's, we hold the power to heal ourselves from within. And when we are able to do that, that's when we're going to see the big change in our lives. But sometimes that takes that shift in perspective to see, which is definitely probably some kind of statement is that what I need right now, just that change in perspective to see what's going on. So yeah, let me go through I see a lot of Facebook comments, so I'm going to just catch up on these real quick, see what's going on over here. Jessica says, I do a lot of journaling. Thanks to Sarah. Yeah, awesome. Speaking of rain, I have a giant mug delivery coming today, so that will be fun, offloading that in the rain into my house. Be water everywhere. Michelle, yes, it does. I've been working on mine all morning and have so far been led to 2 other things. Interesting. Yeah. Christina says, sacrifice yourself for others. I do the same thing, then I go crazy because I feel like I've lost myself. Yes, I hear that. Carrie, I told my husband last night 2019 was going to be the year of no. He looks frightened. Yeah, I told you guys yesterday. I told my husband 2019 is the year of Sarah, and he was like, it's going to be horrible. Shannon, journaling, something I've been wanting to do for a long time to help clear my mind. Today is a great day to start. Yeah, give it a go. And Karen over here says, so perfect, such alignment. Pulled Queen of Wands this morning and knew I needed to reclaim my fireside. Denied it to the point that I lack passion and fire in an attempt to be more balanced and calm, but I took it too far. Awesome. And it's so great that you see that, that you know that. Yeah, for sure. I'm an over helper. Like, I love to help people and do things for people. And then it ends up being a detriment to myself. So let's see here. Christina started a gratitude journal. It made a huge difference in how I approach the day. Yeah, gratitude journaling, that's a big thing too. And they sell all kinds of them where you can just write like 3 things you're grateful for each day and stuff like that, or you can just write it anywhere. But that is, it really helps you to switch your perspective on things that are happening around you. Like when you are experiencing just trial after trial, and it's a really hard day, nothing seems to be going right. If you can just stop, I like to say stop, drop, and give me gratitude. Just stop and say, I'm so grateful right now that I'm alive to have this experience. I'm so grateful right now that I have water in my water bottle. I'm so grateful that I can go home and eat dinner tonight. And just like find something to be grateful for. It can really change your attitude and put you into a different place. And when we talk about all of this magical stuff too, and magical healing, you can really dive into like the vibration of the planet and the vibrations of your chakras and your heart chakra, and like raising vibrations of yourself and raising vibrations of others to raise the vibration of yourself, and raising your vibration to in turn raise the vibration of those around you, and all this cool stuff. You can really like get very witchy woo on it, which is awesome, I think, anyway. But but gratitude and practicing gratitude is one of those really quick ways to, if you believe in vibrations and that kind of energy work, which I totally do, that is an amazing way to shift your vibration from a place of not having enough or a place of anger or guilt or resentment to a place of abundance and happiness and joy and love, and just shifting your energy from like, nothing ever works for me, nothing's ever good for me, to like, oh wow, so much is good for me. Like, especially, you know, if we're all sitting here watching this, you probably have technology, you probably have clean water, you probably have a roof over your head. And so just seeing like, okay, so like all this crap, there's this crap storm right now, but I'm so grateful, or not even but, and I'm so grateful that I have all of these things. And it just really helps you switch that energetic frequency from that place of I have nothing and everything's crap and the world's against me, to I really have so much, the world's not against me. You know, I'm my own best supporter, and I'm really abundant in all these areas. And that's the kind of thing that Jupiter, like I was talking about Jupiter and Sagittarius earlier, it's the kind of thing Jupiter loves. Jupiter is like, oh yes, I see abundance, you see abundance, I'm going to give you more abundance. And then Jupiter is like, oh, you see your abundance of nothing, I'll give you a bigger abundance of nothing. And that's how, you know, kind of, well, I talk about Jupiter like it's a person, but that's sort of how that energy kind of works anyway. Robin did a gratitude meditation on the full moon with my mala beads, a different thing I was grateful for every bead. I love that. That's so beautiful. Yeah, you can totally do something like that for gratitude. I know people who do like like hatha yoga, and as they're switching places, they like think of something they're grateful for, or they repeat something they're grateful for while they're holding a pose to kind of get that in their mind. All sorts of really cool stuff you can do. So Sheila loves gratitude journal idea, raising my vibration and those around me is needed. Yeah, we when you talk about like raising vibrations, and this is interesting, we're going on a tangent now. This was supposed to be a short live stream this morning, still be short, but we talk about raising vibrations and raising our own vibration, and it's interesting because we also say that you like healing others will help you heal yourself, right? But what we're talking about is healing ourselves. And in like my particular example, I'm like, well, I help others too much. So I need to focus on me. But helping to heal others really also stems from healing yourself. But I think when we look at healing ourselves in a sort of like a vacuum of selfishness. So if you're like, you know, I'm going to heal my, like I'm trying to think of a good example. Like I'm going to heal myself, and okay, for my example, I've got it now. If I was like, this is the year of Sarah, right? I'm going to stop sacrificing myself for other people. But in doing that, I like alienated my kids and my family and my husband. And when they really needed me, I told them no and didn't help them. Like when they really needed me for something, you know, that would not be cool. That's actually very selfish. And that's not healing myself. Like the thing I need to heal is learning to take care of myself so I can take better care of people. Because like when I'm taking care of people too much, I'm not giving them the opportunity to learn to take care of themselves, right? So that's kind of how that works. So in healing yourself, like in healing that lesson for me, I'm in turn able to help them heal themselves because they can learn to take care of themselves. And then the same works with that kind of idea of vibrations and raising my vibration to a different place. When I'm more grateful, I'm more abundant, I'm happier, I'm more like, oh, your crap storm doesn't bother me, or like I saw you side-eye me, but I'm just going to let it roll off my shoulders. I'm not going to dwell on it. You know, my happiness, my joy, and being more joy-centered is in turn going to, might take time, but help them be more joy-centered, you know? Because when I'm not like fueling their fire, they're not fueling my fire. There's no fire to fuel. It's just like, oh, okay, well, I guess maybe I'll stop doing that. So when I raise my vibration and live from a more joyous sort of place, you're in turn able to help heal those people, and then they'll raise their vibration in return. So it's kind of a weird concept because we're like, you need to heal others to heal yourself. But, you know, you also need to heal yourself. So I think like there's just that line where it's like, am I being selfish, or am I doing what needs to be done for me so that in turn their life is actually better? Does that So we've gone off of journaling onto a vibration and healing others tangent here. So Jen says, I always say 3 things I'm grateful for before getting out of my bed. Started having my 5-year-old do it also. Have fun with it. His attitude is so positive. Love the journal idea. Love that, Jen. I love that. I make at my dinner table at night. That's one thing we always do. I always eat dinner together, and I don't allow any TVs on, no phones, anything like that. It's technology free time for us. And my husband cannot stand it, but I make everybody say like one really awesome thing that happened this day and how somebody else in the house made their day better. Like, I was like, Kevin, so what happened? What was your best part of today? And, how did somebody else really make your day better today? And then I make my daughter say it, and my 1-year-old obviously does not participate, but, and then I do it and they just roll their eyes at me, but I make them participate in my craziness. Let's see here. So Christina says, so true. Always say sometimes it's not my lessons to learn, but how I'm helping someone else learn theirs. Yeah. I'm a big doer. Like I always just do things to the point where my to-do list has like 200 things on it and other people's have like 2. So I'm working on that. Been working on it for a while. It turns out it's not an easy mountain to climb. Anyway, so journaling. So today that might look like for you just writing your story, which is what it's going to look like for me most likely. And then this could, and then look at those different methods that are in there. And we're not trying to like heal something today. It's really about identifying what needs to be healed and sort of how it got to that place, because knowing how it got there is really important too. It's like if you have, a water spot on your wall and you paint over it, well, the water spot's still there. It's going to come back through. Like you have to figure out where the leak is and fix the leak. So, like the journaling and the digging deep and the sort of thinking on it and writing your story might help you peel back those layers and see like, oh, this is where that pattern's coming from. This is where it's happening. And you can take this even deeper and go into like your ancestral DNA and your parents' stuff and your societal stuff and the energetics of the planet from past lives and your past lives. And it can get like so cool and in-depth and all these layers and twists and turns. But what we have right now is the present. We have the present. We have our present memories, and that's a really great place to start. And it's the thing that you can most change, right? You can make the most change in what's happening right now. So, journal and deal with sort of the present. Stephanie's doing a joy jar this year. So I reflect on what brought me happiness each day and then read it on 12/31. That's so cool. I love that. I saw somebody shared something like that in our group. Help me journal to the positive daily. That's amazing. I love it. Cool. So lots of things to try out today. Lots of extra food for thought for you. So I'm going to put a thread up in our Facebook group. If you're not on Facebook, that's cool too, but you can share in our thread on the Facebook group. There's one from yesterday where I did ask if you know what you want to work on healing. You could let us know in there. And then I'll put one up later today to ask, I'll give you like some time to ask what sort of journaling technique you want to try or you did try, if you had time to try one. So lots of cool stuff ahead for us this week. Oh, and some questions I get about journaling. I feel like sometimes we get really stressed out about our journal. Like does it need to be like really pretty? What do I do with it when I'm done with it? Like, do I throw it away? Do I burn? Like, what am I supposed to do? Or can feel this need to like want to hold on to a journal. There's no right way or wrong way to do this. Sometimes you can write on a scrap piece of paper. You can just I love like those 50-cent notebooks you buy at back to school season because they're inexpensive and I feel no guilt tossing them into a fire when they're full. Where if I buy like the nice ones, I'm like, no, I can't destroy it. It's so pretty. So, whatever you want to use, whatever tools you want to use, it's totally up to you. For those of you that are on more of a witchcraft sort of path, if you have like a grimoire or a book of shadows that you love to keep notes in, sort of reflective of yourself or your life's journey, that's totally cool too. And also a great thing to explore. So, do whatever's going to make it feel easy for you. If writing in a beautiful journal that you don't want to ruin and write in because it's so pretty makes it hard for you, then don't do that. I totally buy like the just plain old composition books or the like spiral bound ones that are like 50 cents at back to school. I buy like a whole stack of them. And then I always have them to give to people who need to write down something or like for me to journal in or to-do lists or whatever. And I don't stress about it. So there you go. Make it easy for yourself. All right, guys, that is it for today. I will email out the replay from yesterday for those of you that aren't on Facebook. I waited last night to upload the video to YouTube so I could send the email, and then sent the email without without the link in it because I don't know, I had a brain fart, I guess. So I'll send both replays to those of you on Zoom who aren't on Facebook. To this afternoon, I'll send them both out. If anybody bought a mug and has been patiently waiting, like I said, there's a whole bunch coming to my house today. So that will be coming on. And I think that's it. All right. Yeah, have a great weekend, everybody else. Enjoy this liminal space where you don't know what day it is, what time of the day it is before New Year. And we kick off 2019 officially. All right. Thank you guys for hanging with me. And I'll see you tomorrow. And I'll email that time out for you. I'm not really sure what time it's going to be yet. Okay. Bye, everyone.